Welcome back to another Alliance War video. We have 4 Loki versus NEXT. This is the 6th war of the season. They banned Kingpin, Kitty Pryde, and CGR. And we are on path 5 in section 1 and path 5 in section 2. We have a Mantis here. And the mistakes were made in this war. Let's just say that. I had a plan for my fights. I don't know if I executed a lot of them correctly, but for this Mantis, she has a 25% chance to apply a tranquilize, which will stop debuffs from basically applying. Wasn't too sure if that counted towards passive stuns or not. So what I did is I popped a combat regen because I wanted to build up to my special 3 without the worry of the tranquilize. So what that does is whenever there's a regeneration effect, it basically removes her ability to tranquilize. So I figured at least at the start of this I can parry heavy and ramp up, and then when I'm closer I can just get to my special 3 no problem. So right here I'm actually purposely pushing her to a special 2 because I don't want her to throw a special 1 because she's going to put that encroaching sleep or whatever it's called on me, and I'm gonna have to throw a special to remove it, and I don't want to do that obviously because I want to throw a special 3 with Professor X. So at this point the tranquilize is back on, and I'm doing a 4-hit combo to push her to a special 2. I ended up eating a heavy, but my Vulture saved me at that point, and at this point I'm fully ramped up to a special 3, and I'm like, okay, I'm debating knocking her down here or and then getting the Fury, or heavy charging into my special 3. So here I do that, then I'm going to manually trigger mind control. I'm over 50 charges and go to my special 3, and it will definitely kill. So just a little bit different with Professor X versus Mantis here. I needed to I wanted to get that tranquilize off of her. I also didn't want her throwing her special 1, so easy peasy, nothing to it right there. I did get hit with a heavy, and that will be a recurring theme in this war. So next we have a Wong on ebb and flow knockdown. I debated using Valkyrie for this, but I did want the charges for Professor X, and I figured I wanted to power start 1 to get to my special 3 sooner to end the fight. Ideally I bait a special from him to end the fight where he's under a bar of power, so I don't get that Wong pre-fight. But I am fighting Spot after this, so I wasn't too worried excuse me, if that didn't line up. I'm just heavy charging here, keeping I'm keeping eye on his charges under his health bar. They're at 50 right now. I just have to heavy once they're over 80, I believe, or 90. And he's throwing his special ones. I don't want him to go unstoppable. So here I do a combo basically to get out of the corner a bit. I'm gonna heavy right there, and I don't want him to throw a heavy right there because he will power gain and go unstoppable. So at this point I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw my special 3 and kill him because I'm in the corner and a lot of bad things can happen in that corner. So I'm gonna take the Wong charge, and I have Spot next. I've taken Spot bosses, so I wasn't worried about this Spot at all. This power start 1's gonna carry me over. The only issue with Spot is that there is prowess buildup on that node, so his specials will hit harder. However, he's going to get that power gain at the beginning, so hopefully his prowess isn't that built up, and by the time it's an issue, I should be at my special 3. So let's get onto this Wong. And there is a white Magneto pre-fight that my buddy Enzo placed for me, so that's going to make me able to parry at will as he goes debuff immune on the knockdown. I pop a potion just to heal up a bit, and we're off to this fight. So again, if I can get 6 heavies off, 7 heavies probably, this fight's essentially over. But you see him power gaining. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just looking at my stun debuff timer to make sure that I can get a heavy off. Here I wanted to throw this perfect. I'm just gonna block it. I can dex this fully actually, but I just took it all in the block, with quite a bit of prowess build up. I should have just exited now that I'm watching this, but it's war. I want to be safe, obviously. I don't want to get clipped by any of that. And there he goes, untouchable. The Fury's up, so I'm just gonna heavy spam into my special 3, and that, you know, taking all that in the block just cost me a few potions, but that's okay. And I had to open that up so Lags could go off and murder some people with Absman, which he did, so kudos to him. But this spot is down. This wasn't a dangerous fight by any means, at least for Professor X. So next up we have a Black Cat, and initially I was going to save my White Magneto pre-fight for the boss, because with Professor X it boosts up the White Magneto damage and all, and I wanted to have that for the boss, but I decided we had an extra Wags, non-synergy Wags that placed the boss, and I decided to use it here just in case. She doesn't purify, but she does have cleanse charges, and if she throws her SB1, then I was like, well, I don't know if she'll cleanse the passive stun. Jabari Panther doesn't, so I wanted to just be extra safe since I am finishing up the fight and the boss. And she's not going to be able to evade me with Professor X, so I'm perfectly safe on all fronts here. So I get that longer stun, so I can really charge up my mind control and essentially get the fight kind of going. You see, after 3 heavies, I'm already at 60, and now I'm over 70 charges, and I'm pushing her to ideally to an SB2. So I can get to my special 3. So here I want to bait this, and I end up messing up. I dex this. I'm like, okay, I need to get a intercept. Oh, I guess I don't mess it up, because I get the intercept there. Get my falter. That wasn't this fight. That was my only clean fight of the war, actually. So this is all she wrote. At this point, I'm running 2 points in max recoil, or in recoil, just because I am throwing special 3s. So, you know, I can nuke down the fights a little bit faster. And next up, we have a Sassy. I've taken Sassy on this path like it's so many times, and I really don't have any fear of this Sassy. However, for whatever reason, like, I'm having like these mistimed parries with him, and it's just kind of throwing off my rotation, and I end up taking some hits. But that's going to be no different in this war. But I'm going to power start 1 to get to my SP3 sooner. The plan basically is to push him to an SB2, ideally without dexing, and then I'm at SB3 with max charges, and then I can beta SB2 from him, and then trigger the protection to go on cooldown. But there I ate a hit. You see that? And I'm just like, oh great. At least it gives me power, right? Bare minimum, it gives me power. So here I'm gonna push him to an SB2. I do want to beat his block to control the spacing. I should have hit it a little bit more there. I should not have done that, but since I didn't have a dex on, I decided to get that extra heavy, and now he's in Wrath. So I get the intercept, and then I go to heavy charge as he comes at me, and I get into my SB3. So this fight is essentially over. At that point, when he's in Wrath, it actually lowers his resistances versus before Wrath when he's building up those charges. So it kind of timed perfectly. Ideally, I would have been at 100 charges already, so I wouldn't have to heavy charge and time that, you know, specifically with it. But it's okay. If I would have popped out of my SB3, it would have been fine. And now we have a Penny Parker on 49 hazard shift. This fight I was probably the most tentative about, because Penny doesn't let you gain power when you hit her block when her shield is up, even for Valk when you're hitting her block. So you need her shield down to build power. A power start 1, and Penny has a habit of letting you intercept her when you don't want to, when you get power burn. So I'm like, okay, just be very careful on when you hit her block. And here I'm like a little worried that she's being aggressive and she's gonna get me in that corner, but she gives me a little bit of life, and I back her up a little bit. And here I'm in the corner. I'm like, oh man, in the corner again. So I figured that if I had to, I would throw that special one to get some evade charges or whatnot. But now she's playing ball. She's backing up, and it's just a matter of playing it safe and making sure that I'm hitting her block and baiting her SB1. She loves to throw this thing, so you know, I want her to throw that basically, because her SB2 is what can catch you on the dash back and essentially kill you. Here I'm getting cornered again, and I'm like, okay, just like, let me get out of the corner, Penny, just play ball. I just need to get to my my SB2, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip my combo to get the bulwark after this. As I push this, I probably should have hit her block for one more combo just to build more power, but not a total not a big deal. You see now with the 3 bulwark, or 1 bulwark and 3 pierce, I'm doing some healthy damage, and you can see that basically a 4-hit combo takes down her shield completely. So at this point the fight is essentially won. I'm being just extra safe because I, like right there, I could have gone in, but I just learned, you know what, just to make sure that you know, she's dead. I could have gone for that last hit, but I'm like, I don't want to get countered and have something happen, and she's down. So at this point, I'm gonna throw. I could have, if I would have just jumped into the boss, I would have saved myself a power start 1, but I had some extra points, mastery points, that I set aside. I took them out of the stupefy, because I don't need them for a stun immune Valk or a stun immune boss, and I put 1 in to max recoil and a couple more in the health, just to give me a little bit more health and a little bit more damage for my SB3, because Valk is going to have those resistance buffs, and the plan is to slow play this basically to I dueled so many times to heavy counter her, but I don't want to bait a heavy because I don't want her hitting my block building her combo, and I don't want her doing damage to my block, because she obviously does. So the plan was to basically do like a 3 or 4 hit into her block, control the spacing, give her some power, and if she heavies me, then I can heavy counter her. I dueled that like 20 to 30 times, and then obviously you can counter the SB1 for power. So I'm going to take any openings, a heavy I'm gonna heavy counter, and any SB1s I want to do a combo to build my power, and then use my falter in between to ramp up. So the whole point is just to keep her in the corner, and there you see I heavy countered, so everything's going perfectly fine. And at that point I'm using my falter, and I'm over 65 charges. My sigil carried me 75, and right there I just mistimed her. Like, I went to combo because I was so excited for the opening, and I just mistimed it. And I have a horseman on that my buddy Steve placed for me, and I was just like, oh my god, I cannot believe I took a heavy to the face. But I'm at 75 charges, and I have a falter up. He's under a bar of power, so I'm gonna ramp up, and I'm at 100 charges, and I'm like, this fight is over. Just gotta you know, bait another special. She throws a heavy, and again I take it to the face, and I'm just like, you know what, she's at 100 charges, I'm just gonna end this fight. So super sloppy fight for me. I just got too eager to with the opening. When I saw the heavy, I was like, perfect, I can push her, punish her, and you know, the fight's over. And I was watching her health bar because I was curious to see how much damage I would do with the resistances, or maybe there was something about a Valk Boss that we were missing, because we were gonna send essentially a R5 APOC, maybe a Herc if it was on the map, something, but the heavy spam just, you know, ends up working out really well. You see that I'm doing about 177k you know, damage per SP3, and you know, it's just over after that. But it's just a sloppy war for me. You have those wars where you just feel kind of like out of it, even though you're not dying and whatnot. You know, the first heavy kind of spooked me for sure, and then I felt like I was getting back in control, and then the second heavy was just like, oh man, like I couldn't, if I would have just been at my 3 bars of power, then I wouldn't even have got hit that second time. But needless to say, You know, that closed up the war. You know, Andrew did not want to take the Valk Boss with a Herc. I gave him the option to use his R5 Herc, and he said, no, I just, you know, Herc will take too long, and Professor X is just way too powerful. I think that's what he said, at least. I'm not too sure. It was something along those lines. But we did donut this war, so let's take a look at the final stats now. And these are the final stats. We did end up taking the win. GG's to Next. Shout out to B McG, Scar, and Karate Mike for the MVPs for this war. We needed a win to get back on track. On another note, I want to let you guys know about my new favorite YouTuber. His name's Oakley. I don't know him at all other than his YouTube account, but it's absolutely gold. I love the commentary, Oak, and keep it up. This was a big X war for you, except for the one Valk fight. And, you know, hope you like it, even though mistakes were made, my friend. Mistakes were made. So, anyways, catch you guys in the next one, and I'll leave Oak's link in the description if you guys want to check out the best commentary for war fights. I swear, it cracks me up all the time. Catch you guys in the next one.